Welcome to this module. We're going to be talking today about the 12-week applied training expectations. We're going to be covering mindset, we're going to be covering 3 core beliefs, and then we're going to be covering TDP, which is my methodology for training and learning things really fast. So let's just dive right into it. Hopefully you've watched the orientation already. We're going to spend some time here talking about mindset, and I think it's really important that we go into this program with the right expectations and the right mindset for this, just so that you can get the most out of your time with us here at Learn Robotics. So the expectations for the 12-week applied training is I want you to think of this as like an internship experience. So if you're not familiar with like internships, it's basically where you work at a company for like 3 months or 6 months or a short amount of time to get acclimated to the industry, to learn specific skills, to gain experience. And we've designed this because we want to help professionals not only get the technical skills in robotics, but also be able to use it to advance their careers. So there is a lot of alignment in kind of the traditional internship where you're going to work through the next 12 weeks as if you're a part-time intern at Learn Robotics. So like you're working with the learner success teams, kind of like the leadership team that you're working with. You've got access to me, which is maybe more like a manager or a senior leader or a supervisor. And the goal is to gain a holistic understanding of robotics and then have enough experience to go and build your own prototypes, build inventions, start new ventures, or apply what you learn to get promoted in your current job, or use it to advance your current career, maybe in a new direction. So I really want you to think of this more like an internship experience and less like I'm going to sit here and click through some slides and then get a certification. Because to be honest with you, like everyone has those PDF certifications and they're not really that unique anymore. But what is unique is if you can take the information you're learning over the next 12 weeks and be able to apply it in whatever sector of the market or company or area that you're interested in. So what I'd like you to do is spend some time defining your goal, okay? So are you a career switcher? Are you looking to actually make a move in your career? And if you are, this is going to be like the equivalent of your fast track first year of engineering school. A lot of times people will compare this program to like a coding boot camp, but for robotics, like a very fast way to get like the 80-20 of what you need to know to have a strong foundation. And you're going to have all the projects to give you confidence and experience. And this will help you unlock entry and junior level job opportunities. Now, if you have an engineering background, like you have an engineering degree and you do this, you might be able to get junior mid-level roles. We've seen that happen. If you are a professional from another discipline, let's say you have a business background or a business degree, and you add this on top of it, then you can use that to get like micro promotions within companies. I've seen that happening. So what I'd like you to do is kind of define your goal. Like, what are you trying to get out of this? Because you should have kind of an intention. You should set an intention for your time here. And I really want you to think of this training as a launching point, right? Before you build a house, you have to pour a foundation, right? And so what we're doing over the next 12 weeks is we're not turning you into the 100% expert. We're turning you into somebody that is going to have a very strong foundation and enough understanding holistically of the market in robotics to be competent to have great conversations. So these are kind of the 3 areas that we typically see. We see inventing. So people that have this idea in their head that they're really trying to get out there and bring it to life. So we've had a lot of people take this as a launching point to get into inventing the thing that they want to make. We've had a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs go through this because they're trying to create a minimal viable product or an MVP, or they're at a startup and they're trying to figure out, okay, how can I take some of this technology and bring it into the company? And then we even have some business owners that are trying to figure out, okay, robotics is the future. How do we take robotics, automation, some of these newer technologies, software, and like expand our current business with the technology? So we've got those types of people. And then we've got kind of our professional. That's like our general person that's taking this program. They're either trying to start a new career, advance their current career, or switch careers into something more technical. So we're looking at promotions, we're looking at new career opportunities, and all three of these launching points are very realistic for the 12 weeks. Will I say you can do all of them? Probably not, but if you can pick one of these on the list that is more closely aligned to your goal, then you will have the highest probability of achieving it over the next 12 weeks because you've set that intention. And I'm not trying to get like ethereal in this section. I'm just trying to say, like, if you can go into this knowing what you want to get out of it, the odds of you getting what you want by the end of the 12 weeks are going to be significantly higher than if you just take this training linearly and you don't have a personal goal for what you're doing in this program. All right. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is act professionally. So we do have this set up. That's why I said this is like an internship experience. We work with professionals in this program. I don't think we have anybody enrolled that's under 18. So this is a professional program. We've designed it, like I said, to give you experience, hands-on experience, so that you can feel confident in advancing your career and using this to actually make more money, get that promotion, make a significant move or transformation in your life. So please act professionally. This is an optimistic and positive learning environment. We do not tolerate negativity and pessimism. Like, if you're having a bad day, we totally get it, but like, don't bring that to the learner success team. Don't bring that to our office hours because it just makes it a negative experience for other people. Our goal is we want you to have fun and we want you to be realistic though. So things may not work at first, and that is okay. So if you're the type of person that just likes to get things done and you like to see things work the first time you do it, you're going to have to reset your expectation, because most of the time when you get started in robotics or you build something, it's not going to work right away. And having that patience and having that ability, the tenacity to just keep going and problem solving, this is a muscle that we're going to be developing, okay? So if you're like a fitness person, you can't just go in and start, curling the 100-pound dumbbells, if you've never lifted a weight. You have to kind of work up to that. And this is what we're going to be doing throughout the program. We're going to be building this problem-solving muscle and being able to come up with solutions when things aren't working is a super valuable skill. So if that is the only thing you get out of this program, it is worth everything that you've spent to join, because most people will give up in the first instance when things are difficult. If you can learn and you can build this muscle so that you're willing to keep going and you're willing to come up with alternative ideas, you are going to be so valuable to the company that you work at. And the other piece is the willingness to take feedback and have humility. We have a lot of really smart people in this program. I'm sure you're one of them. We get a lot of like the type A people, the very academic people that come through this program. And one of the things that I would request is like your willingness to take feedback and have humility. You're going to want to maximize this experience, right? Because if you can get our feedback and you can use that to your advantage, it's only going to help you. And we're not here, me and my team, we're not here to make you feel bad. We're here to prepare you, right, for that next step. And so just have kind of more of an open mind. And you wouldn't have joined if you didn't want this experience. Like, truthfully, you could find the information. It's all out there. Everything's on the internet. We have AI now. You could have like done this by yourself, but you chose not to. And I would go out on a limb and say you wanted this experience. You wanted to be around the expertise that me and my team we have in the industry knowledge, and you wanted the fast track. You wanted to just be able to hop on, know what you need to do, execute it over the 12 weeks, and get that launching point, make that move. So with that said, we are not school. So I have to make this clear, and I'm coming from a place of really understanding academics and being an academic. So I was a straight A student in high school and in college. I graduated National Honor Society, cum laude, with distinction. Like, I got all the academic awards, so I'm allowed to speak from a place of like, I get it. But what we're running here isn't school. We're preparing you for the workforce. We're preparing you for the next chapter of your career, whether that's, your own business, or you're starting a new career, or you're making inventions. And so we don't operate like school. So we operate asynchronously. And this is because we work with people across all time zones. And we have people that like to work at night. We have people that like to work in the morning. We have people that work in the middle of the day. And so what we've done is we built our program in this asynchronous format, which means you can work and you can collaborate when you work best. So if you're a night person, then you can work at night. It's totally cool. Now, my team and I, we're not going to be on at night. So if you are one of these like 2 a.m. coders that we get a lot of those, we're not going to be on at 2 a.m. Eastern. And we're probably not going to be on after 6 p.m. Eastern. But we will do our best to get you feedback back asynchronously. So you're going to get updates via email. You're going to get updates through our system. And it's generally 2 to 3 business days, sometimes faster, depending on when you catch us. So you can expect a response from us asynchronously, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you complete a lab or you submit a module, just keep going. You don't need to wait on us unless you have an urgent question, which you can use our methods of contact, which we'll be talking about later on in this program. Don't wait on us. Just keep going, keep working. We'll get you your feedback asynchronously. And we do this to prevent the meeting overload, because there are just too many meetings going on and nothing's really getting done. And so we don't want to hold you back with meetings. We don't want to make you have to sit through a meeting. I'm a kind of a firm believer, like, you don't need us to read the modules to you. Like, yeah, some of these intro, the onboarding, and this module, we've got another module on like setting expectations. We're doing more of a lecture style, but this is not how we run the program. We want this to be more of a hands-on experience for you. And so work when you work best, and we will get you your feedback. And I'm adamant about that, getting fast response times. If it's a holiday, if it's the weekend, if it's after hours, just expect a few extra days response. But I promise you we'll get you an update, and we want you to succeed. Type A people. This is a huge one right here. Done correctly is better than done perfectly. So you don't need to go for the A++++ in this. If you can get it to work and it's an A-, then that's way better than wasting, 7 hours trying to get the A+. Your priority should be the application of what we teach you, and it should be less about earning the certificate or the grade that we give you on the labs. The grades don't really matter. We will look at the grades just to make sure when we issue you your final certification, you've passed everything, and that you've submitted great demos and it's of high quality. But like an A- versus an A+ in this program, not really that big of a difference. And no one in the working world really cares about your grades. If you're doing this because you want to have that launching point that we spoke about, then they're not really going to care if you got an A- or an A+. They care about your performance of the concept. So can you apply the concept correctly? And can you get a working solution to the requirements? And if you can do that, done correctly is better than done perfectly. Just keep making progress. I can't emphasize this enough. We get a lot of really high achieving people, and I'm in this category, so that's probably why we get this type of person, is because I am like this. And for this experience, my best recommendation, you will get so much more out of it if you focus on getting things done correctly versus being perfect. And the reason comes down to the time cost versus the optimization. You're going to have to decide this. Does the solution meet the requirements? And is it worth your time to be nitpicky or not? Because if it's not really worth your time to make this little tweak, then you shouldn't do it. Because the business use case of you spending 7 extra hours to make an adjustment that doesn't really affect the customer, or that doesn't really make a huge difference, is a waste of time. And companies are not going to be happy if you just waste 7 hours of time on something that isn't worth focusing on, right? And so will you get an ROI on optimizing this solution? I would encourage you, as you're going through this program, to decide this. You're going to have to make some trade-offs in this program, and that's perfectly normal. Obviously, we want you to be submitting working solutions. You still have to get the solution right. You still have to submit good work. But what I'm saying is you don't want to go overboard, okay? So share this with us in your demo. Say that, you were thinking about adding this XYZ feature and you decided to hold off because the optimization piece wouldn't give you as much of a return as the amount of time it would take you to do it, but that was the idea that you had. And if you have time later, maybe you'll go back and do it. And like, this is super valuable, especially for our mid-senior folks. So if you're a professional now and you've been in the working world for a while and you understand kind of how companies operate, like, your boss would be very happy that you have a great idea. And they'll also be happy if you tell them, well, this is going to take 20 hours and I don't have 20 hours right now, but if we have the ability to do it in the future, maybe we can come back and do it. Like, super valuable. Industry ties. So this is something else that I wanted to make a point on. So we bring in external resources from the robotics industry to help you learn current events and what's out there in the market today. And I do this because I don't want to just keep you siloed into the Learn Robotics ecosystem. I want you to leave here understanding the industry as a whole. And when I bring in resources that might be interviews, it might be podcasts, it might be news articles, it's usually current events or recent events or major things that are happening in the industry across different sectors. And that's just me trying to give you context, right? Because again, this is a launching point. If you decide, you want to get into a certain sector with robotics, if you learn about it through our current events, then you're going to be well set up to make good decisions because you'll know what's happening. And the other piece is continuous updates. So this is not a static learning experience. So typically, like, if you take like a college course or a professional development course, you just get like your textbook or your materials or whatever, and you take it linearly, and there's not really much changing happening. But to be honest with you, we're changing like pretty much weekly here, because what we do is we take case studies from office hours, we take questions from learner success, and we add them into the training in real time so that you can benefit from that. So like, if we're getting the same question a bunch of times, because we run asynchronously, we're able to update the training so that you have more examples. You have more ability to go through and see what's working or get your questions answered without having to continuously ask us the same questions. So we do that. We do those modifications. So check the course. You like yesterday to today, like if you're having like a challenge or whatever, just refresh the page and see if we've launched another module, because odds are pretty high that we might have. There have been a lot of learners that wonder why we constantly ask for reviews or feedback or to submit a review. And really what we're trying to do is just make continuous improvements. So that's a big piece, is like making sure that we're serving you the best. And this is like a living, breathing, dynamic learning experience. And the only way to do that is to ask you for your feedback. So obviously if you're taking a training and we ask you about, your perspective or your feedback on that training, we're asking about that specific training and what you liked about it, what some improvements were, whether it was stellar. Like, we just want some feedback so that we can use that to judge kind of what we're going to do next with our updates. And as I mentioned, we are here to prepare you for high-paying careers in robotics. So please be resourceful. One of our values is everything's a test. So especially in robotics, where things don't usually work the first time, you need to be open to testing, collecting data, modifying, and trying again. I wrote a book. There's a full guide on debug and troubleshooting. So use our troubleshooting process. We'll be talking about this in the upcoming modules on the actual debug troubleshoot method. There's a process that you can use, and if you can learn this method, then it is super valuable for anywhere you go the rest of your career. And then think holistically. So I want you to think like, 30,000 feet above the industry. So more of like the macro level versus the micro level. We're going to be talking about some micro concepts, some of the minutia, some of the details, but really this program is designed to give you more of the macro perspective so that when you're talking to different people across the industry, you can be competent enough to have an intelligent conversation. The other piece is be realistic. So you're not going to be an expert in 12 weeks. I have to point this out because we get a lot of people that are like mad that they're not an expert. But to be honest with you, I've been in the industry for like 15 years and I'm still not an expert. Like, you have to be, realistic with what you're requesting. And like I mentioned, you're going to have more experience than the majority of the population. You are going to be competent. And there's been studies on this. There's been books on this. One of the books that I'm familiar with is The First 20 Hours. The result is 20 hours of learning can get you close to competency. And this was from Josh Kaufman's book. So there's a link here if you want to read it. You don't have to. But the concept is basically these next 20 hours that you spend in this program, they're going to be difficult. But once you get through those 20 hours, you are going to have enough knowledge and enough understanding to have intelligent conversations in robotics. And that is my goal. My goal isn't for you to be a PhD in robotics in 12 weeks because that is totally impossible. My goal is for you to, again, have a launching point so that you can make your next move and have competencies. So inventing, entrepreneurship, business owners, start a new career, switch careers. That is really my goal for you. And that is what we do the best in this program. 3 core beliefs. So your ticket to success over the next 12 weeks is composed of 3 core beliefs. So we've got a roadmap and a schedule, which we're going to be talking about in the next module. And part of being in this program is having all the resources you need compiled into a structured training plan. So just like you would go and hire like a personal trainer or a fitness trainer or a coach or somebody to help you get in shape, well, you hired us to help you train your brain on robotics. And so this is 12 weeks. It's optimized for speed. You're going to have actual support from me and the learner success team. And our goal is to give you breadth, not depth, and familiarity of key areas. We've talked a lot about this previously. Your job, and I'm going to put this right here, your job, you need to have consistent, massive action, okay? You need to put in the work, and you need to build the projects, and you need to follow the plan. So you need to follow the roadmap and the schedule. And I'm putting this in here because this is critical. If you could sit and look at the schedule. If you don't do anything, then you're not going to leave with the results that you want. And so to do this, I recommend daily effort. So I recommend 30 minutes a day. If you can find 30 minutes to just go through and start working on this, then you will be in good shape. My philosophy is that 30 minutes a day is better than 4 hours a week. So 4 hours each Saturday, because that consistent massive action will compound, right? If you just wait to do 4 hours each week, yeah, you're going to get the program done, but you're going to forget what you learned because you're not looking at it every day. And my firm belief is that if you can get 30 minutes a day and you can be consistent, then you'll be in a much better place long term with remembering things than if you just wait to do this, once a week. All of the people that we work with, like I said, they're professionals. They're taking this part-time. I don't think we have anybody that's full-time with us. But if you do want to take this program full-time, let's say you have, a few weeks off, or you're on vacation, or you're taking a holiday or whatever, the way I like to explain it to people is if you have more time to spend, you're just going to finish faster. So time is a throttle. So if you want to put in 60 minutes a day and you can do that consistently, you're going to finish faster than the person that's doing 30 minutes a day. It doesn't actually mean like you're going to be better. It just means you're going to finish sooner, if that makes sense. And then the last piece is, so you've got the roadmap and the schedule. You have to take consistent, massive action, and then you need to do it over a long enough time horizon. This is a big one. So we get a lot of people, they finish the first training. So like in the first week, you're going to finish training 1. And then they say, oh, well, I don't know, like I'm not an expert. And it's like, well, of course you're not an expert. You've been doing this for 1 week, So like you have to, again, mindset. You have to give yourself some grace. You're not going to be an expert in a week. You're not going to be an expert at anything in a week, let alone robotics. And so we do this intentionally. We want you to finish training 1 because it's designed to give you some quick wins and some momentum, right? Because if we waited, 8 weeks for you to finish your first training, you might feel a little discouraged. At least that's what we found. And if we get you through that first training, you've got some wins, you've got some code, you've got some projects, you've finished some challenges, you've got some momentum in your sales. And so this momentum is going to give you confidence heading into more challenging concepts in future courses. And we want this. We want you to, again, daily action, right? So if you feel like you're making progress, you're more likely to stick with it. And again, I have to emphasize this because we get this comment all the time, like, you won't be an expert after week 1, so just accept that. You're not going to be an expert after week 1. You're also not going to be an expert after week 12. I've been in the industry for 15 years, and I still there are still things that I'm learning. Like, this is a continual thing. This isn't just a, 12 weeks and you know everything. So just keep this in mind. Give yourself some grace here. Don't be so hard on yourself. Like, this isn't even a realistic thing to think, okay? But what you will leave with is confidence, experience. You're going to be able to optimize your resume and LinkedIn. We've got a lot of the career pieces here. You're building out a portfolio that you can be proud of and that you can showcase. You're going to have more knowledge about electromechanical systems and robotics that you can deploy as you like. And then you're going to get a bunch of tools that are going to serve you throughout your career. This is really what I think is our best value of what you get from us, is you're going to be able to have technical demos and presentations. So you're going to be able to do these just about anybody, which is communicating your skills and showing people what you're trying to do is so valuable. You're going to have that problem solving and resourcefulness muscle that's going to be built. You're going to have the tenacity and the grit to solve hard things. So keep going and finding solutions. You're going to be able to explain technical concepts, build rapid prototypes. You'll know how to choose the right tool for the job because we're introducing you to a bunch of different tools and how they should be used. And some of the tech stack that we're going to be exploring, you're going to get into microcontrollers, electronics, analog digital sensors. You're going to actually build your own sensor and you're going to use it. You're going to do data collection. You're going to do decision making. We do a lot of programming, so block programming, C, C++, ladder logic. You're going to get into manufacturing. We have some modules on design, so you're going to do 3D CAD. You're going to do parts to full assemblies, drawings with dimensions. You're going to be able to actually import parts and use them, prep files for 3D printing, so much more. I'm just giving you kind of an abbreviated high-level list. But really, the idea is that you're going to have all these different tools at your disposal. And again, launching pad. This is going to help you launch into that next phase of your career. And we do this using my method TDP on how to learn new skills quickly. So TDP is train, do, present. I used it all throughout high school and college to get A+ in just about every subject. This is like no lie. I was so adamant on getting not even just an A. Getting an A+ in just about every subject, but it is the reason why I was able to do this is because I had a framework for studying, and this was my framework, TDP, so train, do, present. And it's what I built the 12-week training program on, so here's what it looks like. Train, so we present a concept or new topic that you can learn about. Do, you complete a lab applying that concept or topic. Present, you present a demo of your lab with a working proof of concept. Your mission is to get to present mode as fast as you can. Do not futz with watching lectures in train mode. Do not turn this into Netflix. Don't just watch. Do not get stuck with making things perfect in do mode. So don't do that either. And do not ask us a bunch of questions about the minutia in do mode. Again, remember, this is an internship experience. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of the theory and the proofs around the formulas that we're using, be resourceful. You can look up pretty much anything. Wikipedia is a great reference for formulas and the history of how all of the science was figured out. We're not really here to prove to you why this works. We're here to show you the concept and show you how to apply it so that you can, again, use it as a launching point. Your job is to create a solution to the lab and present it to us as if we were your team, your boss, your colleagues, your direct reports. We want you to take this experience as if you're completing a 12-week internship at Learn Robotics and work your professional magic. So we're here to support you, encourage you, and provide feedback. It is up to you to follow our plan, take massive action, execute consistently over the next 12 weeks. And when you do, you'll succeed and you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish in such a short amount of time. I'll see you in the next lesson.